Jack it up.
Hurts keeps, Hurts cuts, Hurts has the first down, and Jalen Hurts might have just put it away for the Eagles. Touchdown.
Tyrese Maxey and the Sixers are going to win this game. Joel, tough turnaround in the lane. Another 30-10 performance for Joel Embiid.
Hurts connects with Devontae Smith.
All right. Happy Hollow weekend. We are back here at 2 and 5 Scoop again, recording another episode. We're here to talk some birds once again. And I'm here with my buddy Asher. So how you doing, bud?
Good. I'm looking forward to this weekend. Should be a fun weekend of Phillies, football, Halloween, some NBA action, a lot going on this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we got Flyers hockey. We've got the Union playing on Sunday. If you follow the Union, they're the soccer team. They got the Eastern Conference Final on Sunday. We got the Phillies in the World Series this weekend. And then we also have Eagles football on Sunday. So a whole lot of crap going on in the Philly sports world. On top of that, there's also Halloween, which is on Monday. So really crazy weekend. Do you have
on top of that, there's also Sixers basketball if you want to watch. If you want to wait
Sixers
2 hours
basketball.
on the weekend.
Can't miss out on that. I know we don't really want to look at the Sixers on the court right now. They're pretty ugly at 1-4. Just winning last night to the Raptors. Maxey went off finally, so I can't complain. But
But if you can watch any other Philly sport, watch that instead.
Yeah, I mean, if the Phillies are on, watch the Phillies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the World Championship, so. But as per usual, we'll start our episode today with our hot takes. So last week, Asher, how'd you fare out with your hot takes?
Really bad. Again, back to I guess normal for me.
Yeah.
I hit one straight pick. I got the Chiefs over the Niners, which I think was your lock anyway, so I don't even really feel good about that.
Yeah, you got a point on me. That's really it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I did okay. I still not a great week for me. I did nail 3 of my picks though. I literally nailed my lock, 1 of my straight picks, and 1 of my hot takes. I had the Seahawks beating the Chargers. I told you guys that this week was gonna be one of those weeks where the Seahawks offense just decides to go off and Geno Smith decides to look like the quarterback he should have been coming out of college, and the Chargers fall on their face. I just felt like that was this week.
Yeah.
So that should put our score at. So you have 27 points now.
I have 27 now.
You have 27. I have 44 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1.
50.
So another 6. So 50 to 27. Okay. So update the score.
I'm not doubling.
While I'm updating the score, Asher, how about you run through your lock? Go through your lock and your straight picks for this week.
Well, my lock we are going to go a little more in depth with because I've got the Eagles beating up on the Steelers this week.
Ooh, okay.
Lock. Feels good to be able to take the Eagles as a lock. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah, for me, I have an interesting lock. This week I was looking at all the games, and I don't know. For me, I'm not like you, Asher. I'm I kind of stay away from the Eagles and start as far as making a pick because I don't know. I'm superstitious about some kind of stuff, and I don't want to jinx it. I don't be like, oh, the Eagles are going to win this game, and then they'll finally lose.
Right.
So my lock, very interesting, but I took the Vikings over the Cardinals. You guys know that I'm a big fan of the Vikings today. Later on, we're going to break down all of our predictions that we made at the beginning of the season and kind of reflect on them. So we'll talk more about that later. But I'm a big fan of the Vikings. I like the way they play. And I mean, it's best case scenario for the Vikings this year for me because we beat the crap out of them week 2. And then they're also winning the division, just like I said. So,
yeah.
But that's my lock. Your straight picks, Ash?
I've got the Jaguars beating the Broncos in London.
Same here.
London, basically a second home for the Jaguars at this point.
Yes.
They do decent over there. The Broncos, I think this week is the week where I'm finally okay, this team isn't going to be what we thought it was. At first, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt of kind of a new coach, a new quarterback who hasn't played in the system yet, kind of adjusting to each other.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't look like it's going to happen this year. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett might not even make it through his first year. He might be fired.
I think he should be fired.
Yeah.
That's just me. I don't think he's a good coach, and I think part of it is also Russ. Do you think Russ is washed? Would you say he's washed?
He is playing like it this year. It's
Mhm.
so odd to think about though, just because of like all those past years with the Seahawks. It was like he didn't have the pieces around him. It was like let Russ cook,
Yeah, yeah.
give him the ball, get the ball in his hands more, let him make plays. I think it's also a product of the system. It's kind of Hackett trying to contain because what Russ really is a guy who can make plays on the run. He scrambles.
Mhm.
When the team's out of system, that's when he plays his
Mhm.
best. So
Mhm.
trying to just make him sit there in the pocket and make reads, that's not really who he is.
No, it's not suiting. It's not suiting to his game.
Exactly.
It's not a way he plays. Um, but yeah, it's really weird this year. Kind of like that. There's three big names that you and I kind of grew up with, and that's Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Russell Wilson. All of which are kind of really underperforming this year.
Yep.
Um, Aaron Rodgers is struggling in Green Bay. He doesn't have Devontae Adams. You got Tom Brady screaming at his offensive lineman and flying to games separately because there's stuff going on. I mean, poor guy lost his
Yeah.
wife because he wants
He's
to play
like talking
football.
to a divorce lawyer in the
Yeah.
morning, and then he got
So,
has to go
it's
flip it.
just really weird because these are all guys we watched, and they were, like, the best quarterbacks in the league, and now it's like, I feel like we're really starting to see a passing of the torch to
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen,
Jalen
Justin
Hurts?
Herbert, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, so we're seeing a new age of quarterback kind
Yeah.
of take over. But back to the picks. Back to the picks. I have two straight picks. I agree with you, Asher. I got the Jags over the Broncos, and then I have the Bills over the Packers. I feel confident enough in saying that the Packers suck that I'm going to say the Bills will easily beat them. I don't see a way that the Packers even beat the Bills. I mean, I really should put that as my lock, but I'm not.
It's locked
Not
territory, but
locked territory. It's locked territory.
we talked about it last week. We said going into that Packers-Washington game, which is why I made it one of my straight picks. I had the Packers over the Commanders.
Yeah.
If they don't win that game, things are looking very dim this season.
Mhm.
The outlook is, and that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
Things are falling apart in Green Bay, not as drastically as they are in Denver, but definitely in very similar fashion.
Yeah, it's not really unraveling. I mean, that's not even we still talk about Tampa too. I mean, we'll talk about all this later on.
Yeah.
As we look back at what we predicted and how everything's transpired this year. But for my hot takes, I might as well spit them right out now. I say the Jets beat the Patriots. Again, I'm going to go with the 2 or more score thing. So 10 or more points. I'm going to say that I'm going to Jets going to beat the Patriots by 10. I have one total touchdown being scored in the Panthers-Falcons game.
Okay.
So I could see that happening. The Falcons offense, though, can really beat them. I see the Falcons actually winning that game, but one total touchdown. And then I have the Bears beating the Cowboys. I pray to God that this actually happens, but
Right. So
I don't know.
that's in the same vein as my taking the Lions over the Cowboys last week.
Mhm.
It's kind of wishful thinking.
Exactly.
I mean, it's definitely possible. If they play the way they did against the Patriots on Monday
Mhm.
night,
Mhm.
it's just that's not the version of the Bears that we've seen in every other game this year.
Yeah.
They're gonna
Yeah.
have
I
to
mean, it's
show
just
it.
unfortunate. I mean, the Patriots defense and the Cowboys defense are two different animals. I mean, the Cowboys defense is one of the best in the league, so they have to deal with that. But I'd love to see the Bears beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, we all would.
Mhm.
I'll spit out my hot takes real quick as well. I've got the Giants beating the Seahawks in Seattle by 14 plus.
Ooh, okay.
I've got
You're a believer in the Giants now, huh?
I just don't think the Seahawks are as good as they've been playing. I mean, it's like
You think they're
it's kind of
overrated?
weird to say just because they are leading the NFC West, and I predicted them to be the worst team
Wait,
in
they're leading the AFC West right now?
the NFC West.
The NFC West. Holy.
So right now, if the season ended today, they would take the playoff spot for the NFC West.
No way. Oh my god.
Honestly, their schedule. Like I'm impressed by the win over the Chargers, but the Chargers have been volatile this year. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, it's
officials
another
have
one
been
of
kinda
those teams.
shaky.
Yeah. So,
When they've played good teams like the Niners,
mhm,
they've gotten beat pretty easily, pretty handily,
mhm.
and then their wins have been against like teams that aren't going to make the
Lions,
playoffs.
like the
Yeah,
Lions.
I'm not a big believer in the Seahawks just yet. I
Mhm.
think the Giants have proven themselves at this point in the season, 6-1.
Yeah,
You just continue to find ways to win.
I love the Giants coming into the season.
They also
But yeah, but
every game by less. The Giants have won every game by one possession, and I
yeah,
think they're due for like a big win.
yeah, I think
My other
so as well.
My other two,
I can see that happening. And then
I've got the Rams hanging 30 on the Niners just because
really,
I feel like they're due. Sean McVay's too smart of a coach for the offense to be performing like this. Matthew Stafford's too talented. Cooper Kupp's too talented. That offense just has too much going for it to be held down every week. And they've already played the Niners. They kind of got embarrassed. This is a revenge game for the Rams.
Yeah. And then you have one more hot take?
Yeah, I'm just now realizing that I did not put my third hot take in there.
Oh, okay. Wing it, brother. Wing it.
Yeah. All right. Let me do a quick 5-second glance at the schedule.
Okay. Oh.
You start talking about you start moving on to our next point while I get to that.
Yeah. While Ash is doing that, next thing is we got this weekend. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers coming to town. I think. Are we going to Pittsburgh or are they coming here?
They are coming here.
I believe they're coming to Philly. Yeah. So we got Pittsburgh Steelers coming to town. Nothing too scary matchup wise. The defense can be a little nasty, but not much really to look at for this game. It's kind of just what are we looking at as far as this defensive line. We just recently acquired Robert Quinn from the Bears. I believe that was earlier today or yesterday. Today is Thursday. And so we acquired Robert Quinn for a conditional, I think it's a conditional 4th-round pick, or is it just a 4th-round pick?
It was a conditional 4th, and I also want to say we threw in a conditional 6th.
Yeah, something like that. But the Bears are taking a lot of his pay cut. They're eating the money for this year. So we're really just draft compensation. That's really it. But it's really interesting because Robert Quinn last year, he had 18.5 sacks, really insane. He went off last year. He's really insane. This year is a little bit of a different story. He only has 1 sack this far. But he's also was playing on the Bears. So it's going to be really interesting to get a player like that on this defensive line. It definitely stocks us up a little bit. Really nice to see Howie Roseman going out there and grabbing a guy like that, especially in a time where we seem to be losing guys left and right. So really, really, again, great move by Howie. There was really funny. I watched the reaction on NFL Network the other day. I forgot what the guy's name is. It was ESPN something.
Yeah,
with the guy with the beard. You probably saw it on social media if you're paying attention. But he was
can't remember his name either.
Yeah, the dude's a Cowboys fan, and he's like, "Come on," because the Cowboys just made an acquisition as well. I forget the guy's name, but Howie Roseman is just
got a one-up.
Back at it again. Pulled the trigger, got something done.
Yeah. No, the terms of the trade are great. I mean, Howie, like a 4th and a 6th is nothing to Howie Roseman.
Mm-hmm.
The way that guy wheels and deals, like we're probably gonna end up trading 3 picks back from that Saints pick that we have this year and getting like a 4th, a 5th, and a 7th, just because that's how Howie works on draft night.
Exactly.
Teams for mid-round picks, but the actual acquisition of Robert Quinn, I kind of want to pump the brakes on. Like I've seen people commenting on different posts and things, and then obviously that reaction on NFL Network or whatever the TV program was.
Right.
He had 18.5 sacks last season. People are saying we're stacked. He had 18.5 sacks last season. This season, he has 1 sack through 7 games.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. This season he hasn't looked as good.
Yeah.
Plain simple.
Not even close.
Yeah.
So is that a product of, him kind of being old? He's made his impact in the NFL. He's playing on a Bears team that's probably not going to make the playoffs. Maybe the motivation's not there. Maybe the switch flips when he comes here. Definitely possible. Also possible that he's just past his prime. It's kind of
it's also
weird after the season he had last season, but
it's that's the point I wanted to make is the fact that he went off for 18.5 sacks last year. That's a lot of sacks.
Yeah.
I just think going that much of a drop off. He's on pace for 3 sacks this year.
Yep.
Maybe I think it's a little less than 3 sacks he's on pace for. So I think it's really strange that we saw that much of a drop off. That's a big drop off. So I maybe it's wishful thinking. But I think it was a mindset thing. I think being in Chicago is draining. They're losers. It's boring. I don't think it's that fun to play for that team. And I think he had enough of the bull crap.
A guy who has been, Pro Bowler multiple times, playing for a team within a rebuild mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I kind of get it, but we don't need him to be an 18.5 sack guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's still. I mean, we have Zon Reddick. We have a ridiculous.
The rotation of defensive line guys.
Yeah,
very solid this year. He just adds to it, you know.
Yeah, but here's the question about this week. Is he suiting up, Robert Quinn, for the Steelers?
I mean, I don't see a reason why not. I don't think defensive guys normally there's not a whole lot of playbook to learn. Just rush the quarterback.
Yeah, he's a defensive lineman. I don't think it would be. But anyway, my point is like if he is played, how is I almost said Jim Schwartz. How is
Jonathan Gannon?
Yeah, how is Jonathan Gannon? Why did I think of Jim Schwartz? How's Jonathan Gannon going to utilize this new toy that we got? Because we saw in last game, he kind of stopped rushing the quarterback and putting pressure there, and that's kind of like been the one discrepancy we've kind of had with this team all year, is that you got to keep on bringing pressure with defensive line because we have the roster, we have the talent, we just have to utilize and actually blitz. And the times that we do blitz, we're really good. So one thing I'm looking for this Sunday is to see more blitzing, more utilization of that pass rush. I mean, we're going up against Kenny Pickett, I think, right? He's still starting? I'm just double checking. Yeah, Kenny Pickett. We're going up against a rookie quarterback. You know, why not bring the pressure? You know?
Yeah, and I mean, Gannon has come out firing in a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want to say pretty much like the last 5 games we've played, maybe even since week 2. So
right. Yeah,
that is the last 5 games. And then we kind of take like a 2-touchdown lead, or it goes into halftime and we've got like a 17-point lead, and then he just kind of dials it back.
Yeah,
and then those teams start chipping away at that lead, which is like, this is Kenny Pickett. He throws a lot of picks. He's a rookie. He makes mistakes. He hasn't really learned how to read NFL defenses yet. I want to get out to that 14-point lead and then just
pile
start
on,
running some all-out blitzes. See what that pass rush.
Yeah,
play with your toys.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, we have some of the best pass rushers in the league now. Again, I don't want to hype up Robert Quinn, but Hassan Reddick he was insane last year as well, as far as many sacks as he got. You know, something to look forward to. Now that's enough with the Eagles talk. Let's do some reflecting on how our predictions that we did preseason throughout the summer, how did those age? You know, let's look back. Asher, I'm sure you have your predictions written down right in front of you from back in August. I have mine in front of me. So at first glance, you know, what were some surprises that where were you wrong? Where were you right? Where were you wrong?
Well, I think for the both of us, and probably just people who are looking just like from the consensus as a whole, a lot of teams that we thought were shoo-ins to win their divisions, especially over here in the NFC, are not winning their divisions. That goes for Tampa Bay, that goes for the Rams, that goes for the Packers, and that goes for the Dallas Cowboys. Pretty much so all 4 divisions, the projected winner is not winning their division at the moment.
Right.
And I did have all 4 of those teams winning the division.
Yeah, you dirtbag. You had the Cowboys winning. For me, some of the things that aged well for me were the Vikings. I had them winning the North at 12-5. They're sitting right now at what, 6-1, or
they are
6-1 or 5-2.
5-1.
5-1. They had a bye as well. Okay. But they're sitting at the top of their division. I said the Packers weren't going to be as good this year. I had them at 10-7, and looks like that's going to be coming true as well. And then the Lions and Bears I had there. But the Vikings, I was definitely right on. They're pretty damn good. The Giants, I was optimistic about them, but they've obviously blown my expectations out of the water. I knew they were going to be like upcoming. I said they were going to be 8-9. They're at 6-1 now. I think it's safe enough to say that they could win 10 games this year.
Yeah, they'll exceed 8-9. Seems like a pretty sure bet.
But yeah, I do want to point out something that we were both wrong in, and I think specific to this division that everybody was starting to tout as clearly the best division in football, which is the AFC West. I'm looking at my predictions right now, and it looks like none of those are really going to be coming true. Or at least the order. Some of the records might be like the Broncos. I had them at 12-5. you and I were both huge believers in the Broncos preseason. Yep. I know you really thought they were going to be good. I thought you were higher on them than I was. But
I think you had them for a higher record. I did have them going to the AFC Championship, though. So
yeah, so it looks like that's not going to be happening.
No.
But looks like we're both right as far as the Raiders being the worst in that division.
Yeah.
So that worked out. And the Chargers, obviously, I'm being disappointed by them once again. I had them at 13-4. I don't know if that's going to come to fruition. I believe they're 4-3 right now. So I don't know if that's happening. But was there anything else for you that really, really stuck out and you were like, wow, like that really shocked me?
I mean, I'm a little surprised at how bad the Colts are.
I'm surprised.
We all knew the AFC set, like the Texans, the Titans, and the Jaguars. We all knew were going to be like probably under 500. We thought that it was going to be the Colts division to just come up and grab. Now it's really anybody's game because of how terrible that division is.
It's atrocious. It's so bad.
It's possible that the team that wins that division is under 500.
Yeah, I mean, I remember you saying at the beginning of the year that you loved the upgrade to Matt Ryan over Carson Wentz, but we're back to square one. They're benching him. It's even worse, honestly. I mean, this might as well be the end of Matt Ryan's career. It might be a farewell. This might be it for him. But he got benched for I can't even pronounce his name. How do you say his last name? Like what?
I think it's just Ellinger.
Ellinger? It's it was like a weird I saw the LH and I was like, I don't get it.
Well, I think it's EHL.
Something. Ellinger? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know where he came from. Where did he come from?
He went to Texas. He was pretty highly touted out of high school. Kind of disappointed as many Texas players tend to do. And then he was a mid to late round pick last year.
Yeah, I don't remember him. I don't remember that at all. But one division. I mean, who would have thought the NFC East would be the best division in football right now?
Yeah, very big contrast to just 2 seasons ago when the Washington football team at the time went out and won that division at
7-9.
7-9, yeah, just
7-9.
One of the worst.
Well, it could have been the Giants could have won the division that year at 6-10.
Yeah.
Remember when we tagged against the Commanders? Was it against the Commanders or the Giants? Yeah, it was against the Commanders.
Yep.
We tagged against them, and that got
we sat once towards the end of that game, I think.
Yeah, we did. We put it in Sudfeld. Remember that? Yeah.
I remember Giants fans were livid.
They were so mad. I'm like,
which is fair.
Guys, you guys are literally 6-10. You really think you deserve to go to the playoffs?
That's true.
Like I don't care what you think. I don't sorry. You guys are 6-10. Nobody in this division deserves a playoff spot.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just
don't feel entitled to it.
Yeah. But yeah, NFC East, it's kind of aging a little bit differently than I thought. I said earlier, Giants, I knew they were going to be good, but they've kind of blown me out of the water. The Commanders, we knew were going to be dog water.
Yeah.
But then the Eagles and Cowboys. I mean, how do you see this division kind of progressing? Like, where do you see it's so close right now? You got the Eagles at 6-0, Giants at 6-1, and we got the Cowboys at 5-2.
Yeah. I hate to discredit the Giants just because they have proven themselves again and again and again. And I think there's been a lot of doubt continually for them.
Right.
I still feel like us and the Cowboys have a lot more talent than we do. Brian Dable is an excellent coach, doing a really good job with them. You know, he's kind of revitalizing Daniel Jones's career.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I think talent's going to win out. I think the Giants probably finish third in this division. Playoff spot, I mean, Eagles, Cowboys, Giants playoff spots are all but locked in at this point, especially with the way the rest of the NFC looks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think we could see 3 teams making it to playoffs. And honestly, excuse me, I see I'm just honestly as an Eagles fan, I mean, I've had nothing against the Giants, really. I have no hate against them. I mean, the last time it was really close was probably beginning of the 2010s, like 2012. Yeah. Probably when
they have had their ups when we've had our downs and vice versa. So we've never really kind of butted them in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I think it was like the 90s, the last time where it was like really tight. I know we had a really, really like the NFC East was a really great division back then. But what I'm trying to say is I'm happy to see the Giants doing well. I honestly I'm happy about it. It's like one of those rivals that I don't really hate. The only team I want to see doing bad is the Cowboys and the Commanders. I don't really like the Commanders either, but
Yeah, I don't really have strong feelings about the Commanders. They've been poverty franchise since I've been watching football.
yeah. I'm looking through some more of my predictions. And one thing I do want to point out is kind of the AFC North. I know everything was very. How do you think? How do you think that's going to turn out? Because I had the Steelers finishing last. I think I was correct by saying that. The Browns in third, and then the Ravens and Bengals up top.
Yeah, so
You
I mean
still
that
see
division
being
is still certainly up for grabs. The Bengals are kind of starting to come on strong as of late. The Ravens, it kind of feels like they're cooling off. I want to
Yeah,
say.
the thing is with the Ravens is that they just they have they lack the ability to finish a game
Yeah,
in full. It's kind of like the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles can finish games. I mean, they'll bend. The Eagles literally play bend but don't break football.
yeah, as a whole.
The Ravens suck. They break entirely. They will
Yeah.
shatter and they will completely collapse on themselves.
Yeah.
So I mean, if the Ravens can tweak that up, I think the division is theirs. But the way they're playing right now, I think you got to say Bengals take this division by the end of the year.
The Ravens. I'd have to assume that being a Ravens fan feels kind of similar to being a Sixers fan over the past couple years, where it's
Yep.
like the team is so talented, but there's really no lead they can amass where they can't blow it.
Exactly.
Like you're never comfortable until that
Mhm.
final buzzer goes off,
Mhm.
and that's the
Yeah.
way the Ravens have been playing this year.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad. I sympathize with you, Ravens fans.
Yeah.
It's got to be heart wrenching. It's got to be. I mean, I'm also a Phillies fan. If you're familiar with the Phillies have never had a good bullpen, and they gave up a 7-1 lead in the 9th inning earlier this year. So, Ravens fans, I sympathize with you because we have two Philly sports teams here that are kind of similar. So, my sympathy is with you guys. But as far as how about your AFC East predictions? I think you were a little high on the Patriots this year.
I was very high on the Patriots. I had them at 12-5. I've picked them in every game. You'll notice I didn't pick the Patriots to beat the Jets this week.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, after the Bears game, and it's not even just the fact that they lost to the Bears. I'm gonna go on a little tangent about the Patriots here.
Okay.
Like Mac Jones, who just made the Pro Bowl last year as a rookie, excellent rookie season, fits well in that offense. Starts this year off really no weapons.
Mm-hmm.
The offense is underperforming. He goes out. Bailey Zappi comes in. Teams have no scouting on him whatsoever. He kind of starts lighting it up. The Patriots offense starts heating up a little bit. And then Mac Jones, who should be your solidified starter at this point, I think he's proven himself. I think he's earned that.
You really think so?
Doesn't name the starter until Monday, the day of the game. It says Mac Jones. Mac Jones has two bad opening drives, which can happen to any quarterback. And then they pull him in front of the home crowd, bring out Bailey Zappi. So Bill Belichick is a really shrewd guy in general. I mean, he has 6 Super Bowls to his name.
Mm-hmm.
That just seems like a boneheaded move to me. I don't know that that's not showing confidence in your starting quarterback. I just think that's a recipe for losing in the NFL.
Yeah.
There's my little rant.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man.
Another team.
I think my prediction's aging pretty well. I had them at 8 and 9. I thought they were mid, and sure enough, they are very mid.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like, unfortunately.
I like Bailey Zappi, though. I'm not a big fan of Zach Jones. I don't know why you're so high on him, and you're like, oh my gosh, he's gonna be good. It's
the principle of it, because when you think of it from the franchise's perspective, this guy just made the Pro Bowl, and you're showing absolutely no confidence in him. And then conversely, you're also not showing any confidence in Zappi. If you think he was so good over the past 3 weeks, why not start him this week instead of just being like, oh, well, here's the backup option, break in case of emergency. So you're not showing confidence in either of them.
Right. No, I totally get it. And I think that is I agree. I think it is a recipe for disaster. I think you got to be all in on one of your guys.
Yeah.
It's tough to pick one, because I know Bill, he liked Mac, he drafted him and everything, but Bailey Zappi is obviously functioning better in that offense, and the NFL doesn't know Bailey Zappi at all, so he's obviously going to have more success. So I think it was a little bit of a tug of war. Like, do you go with Mac Jones, who is supposed to be your bona fide like starter, or you go with Bailey Zappi, where he kind of rejuvenates the offense and actually looks like a really, really good offense. So, I mean, I get it, but you just got to pick one. I mean, I'm not a coach or anything, but
yeah, I feel bad doubting Bill Belichick, but it's also towards the end of that game. I mean, the offense looked just as stagnant with Zappi in there as they did with Jones.
yeah,
the Patriots only scored 14 points.
Yeah, I'm looking at the game where they I mean, I'm not saying this past game was the game that kind of tells everything. I was looking at the game. God, who'd they play? They shut the
Lions out.
Yeah, the Lions. That's the game I was looking at. That's the game that Bailey Zappi started, I think, right? The first game he started. Yeah.
That's also the worst defense in football. So, like,
that's also true.
I don't know.
That's also true. But it was also at the time the best offense in football.
That's true.
Well,
that's the Patriots defense, though. That's not Bailey Zappi.
Defense, not that Bailey Zappi. So whatever.
I'm not like, I don't love Mac Jones. I'm not like an apologist. I just think that the Patriots are handling the situation the wrong way. And I still believe in the team as a whole, but I just don't like the way that they're trending.
Yeah, I totally get it. All right. Well, with all that being said, we're both doing pretty bad as far as our predictions go. Except for some glaring bad spots. We were just completely wrong. Wrong on the AFC West. I was wrong. I was wrong about the Seahawks.
Ditto.
They're actually pretty decent. I had them at 2 wins. But a lot of just not great spots here. But at least my Vikings are doing better, I guess.
Yeah,
so
that's something to hang your hat on.
Yeah, something to hang my hat on. But we will continue to monitor this. We'll revisit this at the end of the season. We'll do our playoff predictions and everything. But that'll come later. But for now, I hope you enjoyed. We will be back again next week to talk some more football, basketball, whatever we really feel like doing. But enjoy your Halloween. Stay safe. Don't drink and drive or any of that shit. And yeah, thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, what have you. And
all down below.
Any other last thoughts, Ash?
Go Birds. More importantly, this weekend, go Phillies.
Go Phillies, baby. Let's go. The Fightins. And then, of course, go Birds. But go Phillies. World Series. Let's go. All right. We will see you guys next week.